Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2017 State High Student Government Presidential Debate with your candidates, Justin Corman and Emily Lieb. Say hello to the camera, everybody.
Hello.
That's not a hello.
Hi.
Okay. I am your moderator, Lars DiLorenzi. With me, over on my left, is Greg Hopp. Say hello, Greg.
Hello.
Okay. So, I'd like to begin this debate with a quick review of the rules. Each candidate will start the debate with a 2-minute opening statement and end with a 2-minute closing statement. In the middle section of the debate, questions will be posed to both candidates. Each candidate will get 1 minute to respond to each question. After the individual responses, candidates may debate the question freely if they wish. The moderator will cut off debate whenever he or she sees fit. Candidates may discuss whatever they please during opening and closing statements, but must stay on topic when answering questions. Candidates may criticize their opponents or their opponents' policies, but all criticism must be respectful, logical, and relevant. And in general, candidates should behave politely, respectfully, and professionally. So, before we start, we need to decide who goes first. So I think we'll do that with our little penny flip out here. You two can work that out right now.
Heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay.
I can't tell what that is.
Tails.
Okay, tails. So,
Okay.
your tails, what do you want to do? First or second?
Is it flip for closing statement?
Yeah, we're going to do it.
Okay, then I'll start off for the opening statement.
Okay. So, without further ado, you can start.
Ladies and gentlemen, State High voters, first of all, I'd like to thank the moderators for hosting this debate, Lars and Greg. I'd like to thank Emily for participating. I'd like to thank people watching this live and the 7 viewers online that are going to watch this later. My name is Justin Corman, and I'm your current State High Student Government Vice President. I've been involved in Leadership Council for 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore, and this year I was elected to an officer position. And next year, I hope to be your president. I think my experience speaks for itself in terms of being involved in student government, as well as other extracurriculars. I've really worked the past 3 years to develop my leadership and my communication skills, especially with the administration, which I think is a big problem facing State High, the administration to student communication. And I hope that that experience and that training pays off with your vote. Thank you.
Okay. Emily.
Hello, fellow viewers, fellow State High goers. My name is Emily Lieb, and I'm running for the office of President for Student Government. I hope to be your president to connect not only the administration to student government, but the student government to the people. I do believe that it is a fundamental role of the student government to hear out what the voice of the majority of the student population, but also what each student member of the student body has to say. As president, I would not only look for those who are actively participating in student government, but also those who aren't. And I would attempt to use my skills as being a 2-year, and this is my 3rd year, in Leadership Council, member of Leadership Council. I would use those skills to add on to them and to connect to the people of State High. I've worked on issues such as the IB program, education. I've also worked with the administration on several issues, debating them and discussing them in Leadership Council, and I hope to continue that as your president. Thank you.
Okay. And we will now get into formal questions. We'll start with a question for Emily. What experience do you have that makes you qualified to be president?
Awesome. So I am a 2-year member of Leadership Council. This is my 3rd year on Leadership Council. And during that time, I've discussed many issues such as the IB curriculum, gym curriculum, student Chromebooks, and other issues that are facing the student population and the majority of State High. I'm also a student athlete and am involved in many clubs and activities, including the Teen Shale Network, Key Club, and a variety of other activities which would allow me to be more involved and engaged in what the students have to say from a variety of student perspectives. I think it's important that everyone is involved in the student process, not just some people or those who are more active.
Okay. Justin?
Like Emily, I'm a veteran of the State High Leadership Council here. I think it does a fantastic job of being an entry-level position type for people involved in student government. But I think one thing that separates me from my fellow candidate is my experience as an officer this year in student government. I've really seen the difference about involving the difference in Leadership Council and an officer position. I've been involved in a ton of officer meetings and a ton of discussions that I would like to get Leadership Council more involved with in the future, but the fact is that a lot of discussions Leadership Council isn't privy to. It's strictly officers. So I feel like my experience as vice president and those discussions I've been in on would really benefit me in the presidential role. In addition, as vice president, I've served in the presidential capacity when Lars has been unavailable. This year, I know I recently had a meeting with Mr. Johnson regarding an issue that the president would face, which Lars would have faced if he was in school. So I think, in addition to Leadership Council, that officer experience I had this year really benefits me in terms of fulfilling the capacity of president.
Okay. Would you like any further discussion on this?
No.
Okay. Greg.
So on to the next question. Do you support expanding student power, and if so, which measures would you support implementing to expand student power?
That'd be for me.
Justin's first.
One of the biggest issues I feel like at State High is the lack of student power, the lack of student involvement in decision-making process with the administration. It's something I've worked hard on during my term as vice president to increase with some success, and I'd like to continue that in the future. I know that as part of the cabinet this year, we've had extensive meetings with the superintendent, Mr. Ruscio, who's the president of the Teachers Union, and Mr. Johnson, who's the North Building principal, on how we can increase student involvement to give students a voice in decision making, because I know the status quo is the administration makes a decision, students react to it. We'd like to switch that up a bit, get students' feedback before a decision is made, because it truly benefits both the students and the administration to have the students involved in the decision-making process. I've supported Greg Hoff's bill, which is currently sitting in the PA House, to put a voting student representative to the school board. I think that's a brilliant way of forcing student involvement to get students a voice that's on the record. I hope that succeeds. In addition, I feel like the informal meetings with Dr. O'Donnell and Mr. Johnson would be beneficial.
Okay.
I'd like to continue that.
Thank you.
I completely agree with Justin and concur that a voting member on the school board would be ideal and beneficial. But I also believe that not only the active students should be representative, but also those who are less active and less involved. I would not only strive to increase involvement in student government and in other meetings and positions, but I would also create polls and referendums to sort of judge how the student body, even those who are not as active, would feel about certain issues. And an email communication would be best, so I can sort of get a feel as to what the student body thinks, because in the end, it's not my decision, it's your decision. I should be representative of the people, not my own ideas.
Further debate?
Just to build off what Emily said in terms of student feedback, I agree that it's very important to get student feedback, but like I said, that feedback matters very little if it just stays within student government. There needs to be a way to take that feedback to the administration and have them listen to it. So I believe polls would be a great idea, but I also think we need an outlet to take it to the administration.
Next question. Which changes, if any, would you propose to restructure the world language program? And that will go to Emily first.
Thank you. So our world language program is a great program that gets students involved starting in the 6th grade, but I do believe that language formation in the brain starts much earlier than 6th grade. In order to fully learn and comprehend a language, students must be engaged in the language at a younger age. In other countries, such as in Europe and in Germany, they learn foreign languages starting as early as the 3rd grade. And I do believe that starting to implement some of those strategies into our elementary school curriculum, even if it's just through songs and dancing and fun activities within like the homeroom aspect of elementary school, I do believe it would be a good way to get students involved and interested in learning a foreign language. And I do believe that foreign language should remain optional throughout the high school years, because I do think it's important that the students have an individual choice in their own education. I also believe that the administration should